Hey guys, welcome to Overcrest. I'm Chris,
and I'm Jake.
Can you hear me okay through all my?
I can hear you. Yes, this is very funny. Now I get it.
Yeah,
okay, but actually, you have nothing
Yes?
to complain about
Why do I have nothing to complain about?
because I came over there while you were gone
And
with
almost
Colin
blew up my house.
and almost blew up your house. Yes, it would have been very warm then for a minute.
It would have been warm. It would have been extremely warm. Hold on, I got a lot of extra volume I need here because I'm going through about 30 layers of thermal clothing.
goodness,
If you're just listening, you can't see.
ridiculous.
I've got my
You have a
North
parka?
Face heavy down fill on, and I've got my my Pendleton wool scarf, and my I'm all bundled up because I still don't have any heat in my garage.
Okay. So, for the record, I drove all the way up with our buddy Colin on Saturday.
Yes.
And we came up and we took down your old furnace. I properly installed your new furnace. Ran
Where's
new
my old
gas line
furnace?
to it. Where is it?
Yeah.
Right behind you.
My old furnace, Jake.
Yeah, your old furnace is right behind you.
I don't see it.
Looking around confused. It might be around the corner. I did not take
Okay,
it.
that's fine. Anyway,
Yes.
I still have no heat in my garage, and I get a call. Okay, it's actually not too bad, so I'm gonna just give me a
it's not.
second. I gotta
Okay.
disrobe here
Disrobe a little bit. Yes, this was all for
because
comedic
it's not
effect.
that cold. It's cold,
Uh-huh.
but it's not that cold.
No, it's not.
I just wanted to make fun
How
of you
many
'cause I
jackets
still
do you have on?
don't have heat. Okay, so
You have another
oh, wow,
jacket
that's
on under
quite loud
that?
now. What?
Oh, that's a hoodie. Okay.
That's
no,
just my
that's,
hoodie.
That's, yeah, okay. Yeah,
So I get a call, or I get a
Yes.
picture, or I get a FaceTime call that says Jake Solberg is trying to FaceTime you,
That's
and I
me.
was on the
Yep.
plane, and I don't know. I don't like taking calls on the plane. It seems douchey.
No. Yeah, I don't blame you there. I actually didn't know you could take a call on the plane. Like that
You can
get
if you're connected to
service.
Wi-Fi, it'll let you. By the way, the lag is gone. This is amazing.
Yeah, that was
much
bad
better.
last week. We should have here's the plan. If we get lag, I'm just going to say stop.
Yes.
Right?
And I had a phone call. We're having Feder on a little bit later, and I had the problem with him, so I moved the router around until I thought I got the best signal.
It was you.
And
It was always you.
Yeah.
You're
it
the
was always
problem.
me. It was always me.
Yes.
Anyway, so
You're on the
I get a
plane.
phone call from Jake, FaceTime, can't take it. Sends me a picture. It is Jake with my new heater, which is right here. I'm pointing at it.
Mhm.
Oh, it's blinking.
What's
There's a
blinking?
red light up there. Why is there a red light up there? Do you see that red light? Oh, that's the
Are you an idiot? You're probably an idiot.
yeah, it's the
Oh, you were
Riverside
looking
is
at the
recording light.
screen where it's recording.
Yeah, but
no,
it looks like
definitely-
it's right on the furnace right there.
Why
There's
is
a
the
little red
furnace
light.
blinking green with
Yes,
no
it's,
power
ugh.
going to it?
Anyway,
Okay.
and it's a picture of him pointing at it. I'm like, great, this is so amazing. This is awesome. And the next
Yes.
picture he sent me
10 out of 10
is our friend
friend.
Colin with him.
Yes.
This is incredible. My friend Jake drove all the way up here,
Yes.
took my old furnace out, put the new furnace in.
Right.
Wow, this is incredible. What a friend. And this is while I was at SEMA. And I was actually flying to Milwaukee, I think, at the time
You were. Yes, correct.
for my grandma's funeral.
Yep. And,
And-
actually, you missed someone who was also here to help or there to help, which was my son, Rhett, who's not
Oh,
even
right.
two
Yeah,
yet.
he came by. He
He
was
was
playing
there.
with the dog and everything.
He was playing with the dog. We also, if you log into your TV in your garage, it's currently
Yeah.
logged into my Netflix, and
Oh,
Trash
okay.
Truck is playing. So,
Oh,
FYI.
yeah.
You don't
Yeah,
have
there you go.
don't have audio on that TV though, as far as I could tell.
It's because it's hooked up through the stereo. You have to turn the stereo on.
That was a lot.
It all
of figuring.
goes through the Apple TV with the.
I figured, but I didn't get there. Didn't
No,
get there.
that's okay. Anyway, so I get this call. Everything's hooked up. This is awesome. Jake,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
20 minutes later, I get a call from the dog sitter.
Mhm.
Actually, this is more like an hour and 20 minutes
It
later.
was,
I don't.
yeah, otherwise I would have turned around.
Yeah, it was. There's some illusion for you. I get a phone call from the dog sitter.
Hey,
Hey, your house smells like
It'd be
gas.
foreshadowing, by the way, not illusion. Foreshadowing.
Yes, you are correct. Similar word, different meaning.
We'll get there.
Sort of. I'm just like, okay, great. So the dog sitter goes down, or actually she calls me, says, oh, I'll go back. She goes down and turns off the gas. So Jake had flooded my house with natural gas.
I don't
And,
believe that.
You can't believe it?
I don't really believe. Like, I'm curious how.
What do you
much
need
gas
for evidence
there
other
was.
than my dog sitter saying it smelled like
Even
gas
you
in the
on the
house?
phone were like, we don't know what that means. Might be just like a faint hint of gas from doing
From what?
the actual gas plumbing.
No, I don't think so. I think there must be a very small leak.
Yeah, probably.
The stuff that they put in to natural gas,
Yes.
even a little bit smells extremely strong, which is intentional. You don't want your
Good
house to blow up.
reason. Yes.
And it
Because
would
actually,
take
natural gas, is odorless completely.
yeah, you can't smell it.
Right.
So they add
If they
whatever
don't
it
add
is that makes it smell like rotten eggs or what gets kind of like this pungent weird smell.
Colin actually knew exactly what it is because it's meant to smell somewhat like sulfur, but it's not actually sulfur. It's some derivative of that. And Colin's like, well, actually, it's such and such, and blah 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 blah. And if you put a little bit here,
So Jessie goes to me today. She's like, "Can you start the stove? I'm nervous. I'm nervous." And I go, "Look, you don't understand. You would have to have all 4 burners on the stove without being lit, with the oven open,
yes,
for hours. I mean, it would take
it depends.
to fill up your house."
Do you remember the movie Jason Bourne or The Bourne Identity? And he turned it
Yes.
on, and then he put like a newspaper in the toaster, and he ran away, and 30 seconds later, the whole house exploded. So
Yeah, that's not how it
if
works.
you believe that.
No, that is not how it
Do you think if you put a newspaper rolled up in the toaster that it would ignite?
it would smolder. I think it would smolder. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So
back
anyway,
to our
so my
story.
house, Jake almost blew my house up.
That's not true.
And then I get this phone call from Jake the next day.
You're just going straight ahead. You're jumping. You're jumping right ahead. Let's.
Oh,
Okay, hold on.
and
What?
the furnace doesn't even work.
Well, okay. I had a toddler with me. It was very cold out, so you weren't
Oh,
lying
is it?
about it. It was cold. Yeah, your garage is very cold. Turns out. Also, because I went upstairs and got coated with like 8 dead mice.
Yeah,
because you have
right at the
sticky
top of the
traps.
stairs.
You have sticky
Yeah.
traps everywhere, and so I'm like, great. I have dead mice stuck to me now.
Well, you didn't
because
have
your
to touch 'em.
insulation is terrible up there. By the way,
There isn't any.
there's like 4 bats of insulation just
there's
haphazardly
nothing.
strewn around.
Yeah. There's nothing.
Yes, well, there was 0 instructions with that furnace, so I did very well. By
You
the
should
way,
be glad
I
there wasn't
mounted it
insulation all over the
correctly.
place, because you would have had a nightmare of a time traipsing through insulation. Instead, you didn't have to.
It's
Bonus.
did kind of because it was like thrown in there, so I had to move it. Now I'm very itchy, mind you. Yeah, so I mounted it correctly. I took down your hodgepodge like 1x wood furring strips up there that you had threaded rod going through the sheetrock. And so now it's actually hard mounted with some metal rail, and it's done well, and it's plumbed correctly. It has the moisture trap on it. It has a new flex line. It's great. I used actual gas compatible plumbing dope or plumbing goo, plumbing stuff,
Dope, yeah, it's
paste.
dope.
Yep. Well, dope is for PVC. That's, I think, slightly different.
What
But anyways,
what brand did you use? Because it leaks.
true. Yes. I think that may be more of an age issue than anything because it came out not great. Regardless, yeah, so we get it. We're going. There's no... Got it all wired up to the thermostat. However, it was a very poor instruction manual, and then I noticed there's also like this electronics transformer that was like kind of with the rest of the unit that you had already taken apart or like taken out of the box. So I didn't know what went with and what didn't. And then finally afterward, I figured out that you need to run that transformer to 12 volts, and that supplies 24 volt low watt power to run the actual valve and igniter, which we didn't get to. And
Why didn't they just? I don't understand.
It's very
Is this so
dumb,
that you
that
could
whole
run
setup.
it in, like hook it up to your car and have heat? I
Yeah,
don't get
sure.
it.
There you go. Yeah, that'd be great. Let's
that-
do that. You could put it right on the headliner.
Boy, that
So,
would be warm.
Long story short, you're welcome.
This thing
and it
is
won't take much.
60,000 BTUs, Jake.
Right on your head.
60,000 BTUs.
Yeah, I also mounted it differently in orientation so that you get more heat and you're not just heating your toolbox.
Yeah. Well, my toolbox is on the other side of the room, but yes.
Regardless.
That is.
Yes.
that's
So
true.
you're welcome.
Yes, I do greatly appreciate it.
And
I
then
look forward to it actually working.
I am such a good friend that
Yes.
I was also coming to join you on Sunday, the following day. Was it just the following day, or I was over there Friday? I was over there Friday. Sunday then, you were on your way to a funeral, and I was going to drive out to Waukesha area to join you. I left early in the morning. I was in the Cayenne. I was luckily by myself. and had a full tank of gas, but I was like, you know what? I want some coffee. Made it to Eau Claire, get off the freeway, which, by the way, that's the worst exit on 94 because you think like, oh, coffee, I'm going to stop right here. It's got everything.
Stop right here.
You got to drive like 2 or 3 miles north into town to get anywhere.
Yeah, Eau Claire's not a good place to stop.
No. Well, they're not ever going to be stopping there again. Because
it's the bad luck place. Hold on. I'm gonna make a quick phone call here before
Why?
we tell this story. Because I need Jesse to grab something for me.
Hello.
Hey, can you bring me the grandma letter?
Right now.
Okay, perfect. All right, go ahead.
Yes. So do you want to, we can preface, so your grandmother passed away.
My grandmother who passed away.
We were very, very
She
close
also
to.
partially raised me along with
Exactly.
my
Yes.
dad and my stepmom.
So that's why I was coming out to be there with you.
Which I greatly appreciate.
I didn't make it. Hopefully I get points for the effort.
You do get points for
you.
the effort. It's
Yep.
like almost when you offer somebody, hey man, do you need help moving? And they go, nah, I got it. But hey, or hey, do you need to borrow a truck or anything for moving?
Mm-hmm.
No, I already got one. You still get the points for the.
Awesome. Very
still
good.
get the points.
Yeah, I didn't make it. So in Eau Claire, I was turning left to go get coffee, and I see the green arrow, blinkers on. I'm in a designated turn lane. There's actually a center.
What are you
median
driving?
To my right in the Cayenne, 2015 Porsche Cayenne Turbo. And I see the light is
Okay.
green. I look because there is a guy in a white hoodie to my left, and he's like looks like he's gonna go through the crosswalk, which would be right into the path of where I'm going. And I was like, "You're
Hoodie
not
up
gonna
or
go,
down?
are you?" Huh? Hoodie
up or-
down. Hoodie
do you
down,
think is-
but he's the type of guy that would have the hoodie up, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, he might have
All right.
shorts on and running
So
shoes.
his name was like Blake or something.
Yeah, but older. He was an older Blake.
Okay.
Probably Bob, not Robert. Bob.
Robert.
He wouldn't go by Robert. He wouldn't.
No,
That's
okay.
too professional for him. So I'm looking at this guy. I
I wonder
glance
if he
up.
knows how to install furnaces.
Yes, he probably does, but I wouldn't trust him. I wouldn't trust him. Not for a
Maybe his
second.
name was Jake then.
Why? Hey, I did a quality job, just didn't quite get there. Blame
Continue.
my son.
I'm going to stop hijacking your story.
That's okay. Turning left, I have the green arrow going left. I see the guy. Pay attention to that guy because I don't want to hit him when he jumps into the intersection because he's not trustworthy. I look back up again. It's yellow, so I'm going. Next thing I know, impact, spinning. The world is upside down. It was
Explain the physical feeling and the sensory.
Yeah, so I got
input
hit
you
by
had.
a Jeep the other day, is the long story short of this.
Right. So what did that feel like? And how fast do you think he was going?
Probably 55.
Jesus. What did it sound like? What did it feel like?
It sounded like an explosion because the airbag exploded into me.
Yeah. and
That's
then you said
probably
this
what I
thing-
heard more than anything else. And I've never been in an accident where the airbag actually deploys, so that was quite the experience. Yeah, so
And they stink too. The airbags stink.
Well,
They're,
the thing that I remember I noticed is like after it deployed, I come to a stop. The car did a full 360 skidding, ended up on one of the medians, and it's smoky. There's smoke everywhere in the cabin.
Yeah, it's very.
because those-
I would use the word acrid. It's a very
It is,
acrid,
yes,
acrid smell.
because it's they literally explode. Isn't it like close to C4 is basically what they use in those things?
I don't know. I don't know about that.
I had
It's
a
possible.
burn on my wrist because that's a very common thing, and it singed my jacket.
Yeah, it blows your arms right off the steering wheel.
Right, and so it singed my jacket. That was all like melted plastic. That smelled bad. And there was another like lower airbag unit that comes out of the lower dash, and
Which I did not even know existed. I didn't know that was a
really
thing.
Didn't either. Now that I think about it,
I bet you wish it wasn't there.
yeah, because that injured my knee. I think more than anything else happened, but I walked away fine. Other people in the other car walked away fine. So all's well from that. You know, it ended fine.
The car's totaled.
Gone.
And
gone, totaled.
so this is a pretty tough way to get into a new car.
Hey, it's one way to do it.
I mean, if you didn't want it, you could have just
Sold it.
sold it. Yeah, it would have been a lot easier.
That would have been a lot easier. Yeah, but new car search, so that's fun, I guess.
So you're
Trying to
okay.
figure out. I'm okay. Yeah, I'm a little sore. Feel like I got hit by a Jeep, which I did, but you know, I'm pretty sturdy. I'm short. I'm stout. I'm solid. No
Yes.
problem. No,
Okay.
honestly,
So,
I feel pretty thankful for walking away. Thankful also no one was in the car with me.
I mean, you think probably 40 years ago you could be dead.
Well,
in
here's
a
what's actually
situation like that.
interesting. I was like, okay, I have a 4.5 hour drive ahead of me. It's actually nice out. It's like 55 degrees. I'm going through Hudson where I have my 911 stored. I was like, I could swap the 911 if I wanted and make a fun drive. And I was like, I took the battery out, so I can't do that. That and it's going to be freeway the whole way. It's not going to be fun. But if I was
Well,
in
if
the
you would have
911,
taken the 911,
I would
the
have.
timing would have been different. You wouldn't have been
How
in the
so?
same spot at the same time
True.
because you would have stopped.
I know you got to play that game like would it ever have happened, but at the same time, would not have walked away at that point. I can tell you that.
No, you'd have been in a world of hurt. I mean, it looks like that
For sure.
Cayenne took the brunt of it.
It
It's
did its job
wasted.
for sure.
It's gone. I mean, that thing is
Gonzo.
going to a scrapyard for
Yes.
sure.
Big time. So
And
been
we'll
working
like if
through
you're we'll
all
post
of
a picture
that.
on the Discord if you're comfortable.
will
with
we?
Jake. Well, if you can, Jake, if you want to.
I can. Maybe the Drivers Club only. I'm still working through like insurance and everything else and like police reports. So I kind of want to let things be settled, I think, maybe before it all goes public, if that makes sense. But
Whose fault was this? This was definitely the guy that ran the red lights. Fault.
like I said, I saw a green arrow. I know it was turning to yellow, but I was already committed and in the intersection then.
This is a major intersection. Surely there were
It
cameras.
is. Oh, yeah, that's by the way. I go, well, are there cameras? Because that would be good to see what happened. Oh, yeah, there are. They're not operational.
Why?
I don't know. And the police officer said this happens frequently, at least once a week. He's like, we've scraped bodies off the ground here frequently, like already this year.
That
Like,
intersection?
Yeah. He goes, yeah, just be glad you're walking away because a lot of times it's a morgue.
Yeah, I bet it is. Especially.
And he said it's a state highway, not the municipality. He goes, so we keep requesting that they get the cameras going. And it's like it's out of our jurisdiction. Really dumb.
Jesus. I mean,
Yeah,
how hard can it be
bureaucracy.
to get the cameras going?
I don't know. Anyways, so that happened. Been dealing with that. So
Well, that sucks. You guys, should we talk about joining the Drivers Club where they can see the pictures of this carnage?
sure, I guess so.
I mean, drama is a really great way to get people involved in something, isn't
Absolutely it is. I also, so we posted a question to the Drivers Club Discord area. So if you haven't been on Discord, first of all, there's a shout out. That's completely free, open to everyone. Go on to our Discord. However,
I'll
we
put the
posted
link in
a
the show
question.
notes, guys. If you're wondering, I know
Yes.
it's really hard to get people to leave whatever application they're in. You don't want to do it. It's a big
You have to
ass.
search, Chris. You have to type. It's terrible.
Oh, it's so hard. It's it's so hard. Just freaking click the link. It's not. It's
Yes.
not a big
No,
deal.
but
Everybody's
we
like,
posed
"Oh,
the
I miss
question.
forums. I miss forums. Oh, I miss
Dude,
hanging out with
there's
people."
so many
Oh,
build
I
threads
miss
over
it
there
so
right
much.
now.
There's so
It's
many
very
active threads,
active.
project threads,
It's
people
really,
hanging
really
out,
cool.
rally
It's
people,
awesome.
podcast people, Drivers Club people, us
Yep.
people, me people, you people, Jeff people.
There's
lots of
all
people.
of the peoples. We posted the question though in the Drivers Club section of the Discord about like what do you guys want to see? What should we do for you? And one thing that was kind of cool, I thought, is what if we basically say at the end of every episode, if you have questions specifically about this episode, or if you want to ask us something, that's where you do it. You're a Drivers Club member, you have that opportunity to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, that works out great. Also, we maybe I should bring back the voicemail. Maybe send us a message if you think the
Thought about
voicemail
that.
would be fun. We've got
Yep.
an Overcrest voicemail and take questions and stuff like that. Maybe we'll make that available only to the Drivers Club members as well. And anyway, it's overcrestproductions.com/club of drivers. You can
That's
hop
not
over there.
at all true, Chris. And now I have to make yet another redirect, one of 57.
57 redirects. Overcrestproductions.com/
Actually, no. You know what I did? I
What'd you
forgot I
do?
did this. I created an auto redirect for anything, like instead of a 404 page. So
Yeah.
anything you tell me them will actually work now. So go ahead,
Okay.
make it up. It's fine.
Overcrestproductions.com/5'3" should lead
Four
you right
and a
to
4.5.
what?
5 foot 4.5.
5'4.5" should take you right to the Drivers Club where you can support this show. We can't do this podcast without you guys. We genuinely
Absolutely
can't. And we're going to be doing we'll do some exclusive content. But I think one thing that we're going to be really driving towards over the next few months, you will notice, is we're going to really lean into this podcast thing really hard.
Absolutely.
I think I took the foot out of the gas leading into the rally
We all
last
did.
year.
Yeah, we
Yep.
were super. It's like you have said actually in the Discord, mentioning it again. We are very ambitious. Overcrest,
Yes.
the
Yes.
2 and 3 of us, and so anything we try to do, we just keep doing more and more and more. And we executed very well, I'll say. I think the rally was a huge success and everything else that went along with it, but that meant that we didn't have a whole lot of time or mental capacity to dedicate to the podcast. So we'll get back on that.
Absolutely. Who's supporting the podcast right now, Jake? Tell me, what's going on?
Oh, yeah.
Let's
Let's take a minute to talk about Petrolbox. They're big supporters of the podcast. Petrolbox is a monthly service made specifically for the automotive enthusiasts. Each month, they carefully select items including tools, detailing supplies, apparel, garage gear, stickers, publications to be sent right there to your doorstep. It's a curated selection of latest and greatest gear in the industry. Let's see. What did you get in your box this last week, Chris?
Oh, I haven't
opened it. Oh,
I haven't opened it. I
got
haven't
10
been home.
millimeter impact sockets, which I was a big fan of.
Okay.
Because I have broken sockets before that are not impact. Always get detailing supplies. You get usually like a brush or some type of detailing accessory that goes along with the product that they sent. Always great. T-shirt every month. Stickers, pins. It's awesome. I have a really cool collection now of enamel pins, all from Petrolbox. It's a really cool service. Makes a great gift, especially for the holidays coming up. There are a lot of people that are very hard to buy gifts for, right? And This is a gift that you can buy a subscription for as many months as you want. It's a great gift. Check them out. There's 2 different levels. Petrolbox Basic is less than $20 a month. Petrolbox Premium gets you even more gear, $39.95 a month. Check them out at mypetrolbox.com.
Okay, so I've got one thing. I went down.
Hold on,
for
Chris. We're not
What?
done quite yet.
Oh, we'll do the other one we'll do the other one later.
Okay.
All right. So
Hold on. Before you get to that,
yes,
I want to at least look at the silver lining, because this was kind of a not sad, but like it was an unfortunate event, right? For sure.
Yes.
But here is the fun part. What do I get?
What are you going to buy?
What do I get?
What do you get?
Here's the other part. That was an expensive car, right?
What was it? What did that thing cost?
We paid, so it's a 2015 that we bought in 2018, and I think we paid 52.
Okay, so it's a $50,000 Porsche SUV.
Correct.
In my opinion, I think they're wildly overpriced and unnecessary. So what are you going to do instead?
Vehicle, period.
But I mean, yes. I mean,
here's
I guess
the
my
other
Golf R was 40.
Yeah, exactly. Here's the other thing going on is we want to not have quite as much money wrapped up in vehicles right now, because we also are buying another house and property and all this other crap going on. So we're like, okay, let's bring it down. What could we get for like 10 grand? Like something, a nice car. So I have 2 things that I'm interested in looking at. One is I really like the idea of a manual transmission Cayenne. I've always wanted to drive the Cayenne with the 6-speed manual. So I'm trying to find one of those to at least drive. I just want to try that.
I mean, I feel like that would make
that.
sense if you were, you know what? Honestly, dude, I don't know, man. Manual SUVs, the automatic transmissions when you're doing anything, like unless you're really, really into off-roading, it should just be an
It's not even for the off-roading. No, it's just for the driver engagement and fun. I miss it.
You have that. You just park it too far from your house.
Yeah, but in the winter, what are we doing?
Yeah, well.
So anyways, that's an option. That's what I want to look at. The last year they made a manual in that was 2014, and it's with the VR6, actually. They put the VR6, the Volkswagen's 3.6 liter VR6 in that, which I also love.
Can you get the
motor.
diesel with the manual?
You cannot. Nope.
That'd be the one to have.
But I don't
if I
like
was going to buy a
diesels.
Cayenne, it would be
Definitely
the diesel.
don't like diesels. Not going to be
Dude, for an SUV,
nah.
be great.
Just nope. I'm totally off of it. Nope.
You just
Also
can't do
looking
it,
at
man.
like the other consideration was, because hopefully everything shakes out and moving into some property, gonna need like a heavy duty truck for pulling things, right?
No.
So looking at like one.
What are you going to need to pull? What are you doing that you need to pull anything?
Powerboat for one.
A 50-foot powerboat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Twin
Right, okay,
screw
River Runner.
454s. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Well, you have
Yeah, like
it's on the
4
river. Can you
4
put
gallons to the mile.
Question.
Yeah.
Can you put a dock on your property?
Of course. Yeah.
You can.
Yeah.
Okay. I know that
That's
docking
where the
on
boat's
rivers
gonna go.
sometimes can be a little weird.
That's
Yeah,
where
but
the boat's going, Chris.
I want everybody to imagine right now the type of boat Jake
Yes.
Solberg is going to buy.
Oh my goodness.
It is going to be a Baja with tribal tattoos on the side, mismatched vinyl. It's going to be like yellow vinyl with yellow stripes.
Yep.
It's going to be loud.
Amazing.
It's going to be dry
So
piped.
loud. So, yeah, big time.
We'll have to talk through
All
boats.
about
I think that we should talk through boats at some point. We'll have a boat episode, and I'll try and save you from yourself. And the other option is what? Okay, so you're looking at another stupid Cayenne, which I think is a dumb idea.
Another stupid Cayenne, a like a big truck to haul stuff, but realistically, it'll be like a cheap older truck with a plow on it to plow the driveway. So that's not going to be the daily. And then alternatively, it's just like maybe just a A4, like an older A4 Avant. Not older, but
why are you stuck on Audi Avants? Why don't you look at like a Mercedes or a BMW wagon?
I don't know. I guess I could look. I just know them. I like them. The interiors are nice.
Like, what about like an E55 wagon, like a big V8 or
Maybe.
a supercharged V8?
Those I would not be moving down market. I'll say that as far as price goes.
No, yeah, some of those like well, not an E63, not an E63, like an E55.
Yeah.
So a little bit.
The other thing, I don't know why I've lately just been into the VR6. Like I want something with a VR6. I miss my R32, I think, but you want 4 doors with a kid, right? That makes it a lot easier to get the kid in. So the A3, first generation they brought here. Yeah, the E55.
Here, I'm going to put this in the chat.
Yeah. What year is it? Let me guess here. We'll do the guess.
Let me share my screen. I can do that, right? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Do that instead.
Yeah, I'll do that instead. So this is what I would do if I were you. But I mean, all of a sudden, there's only 2 of them.
A Mercedes E55 AMG wagon.
Yep. These things
that has how many miles on it?
Fantastic. How many miles does this got? Where does it say? 126,000.
And it's still $35,000.
I know. They're so. I mean, what's nice about these is it's more like a A6 wagon. They actually have a lot of space.
Yeah.
What do these have for power? I wonder.
Because that's a twin turbo 5.5 liter V8, right?
Yeah, they're supercharged intercooled V8 producing 470 horsepower.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Keep in mind the
Cayenne man, that is one
had
thing
like
Mercedes
550
did right.
or 580. So
what? Yeah, but like, who cares? It's a giant SUV. It better have power. When you look at like this, someone that doesn't know what cars are,
though.
Who cares? Less than a Cayenne. I'm not going to go through all the stats of what the curb weight of this thing is.
I'm just saying,
think about, like, there's something about a fast wagon, right?
Yeah, I agree. That's very cool.
Fast wagons are sick because they're unexpected and they just stomp, right? So you have a fast wagon, you can blow somebody's doors off. You have a big SUV with a turbo badge on it, and it's a Porsche. It's kind of not as surprising when it's like a grandpa car, as you would say.
Yeah, except this has a big AMG badge on it, and it does.
Well, you can always take the badge off.
I still don't like the way it looks.
This is so classy compared to an A4
Mercedes. Period. Don't like it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I don't know what to tell you there.
Yeah.
So yeah, fine. A4 Avant. Do it. Whatever you want. All right. Who else do we have partnering with us on this episode?
Golf
what
R?
do we got going on?
What about a Golf R? I looked at those too. Your car. Would you buy one of those?
So Golf R, my Golf R is the best car in terms of car that I've ever owned.
Okay.
It's really, really,
I feel like
really
there's
good.
a but.
It's small, dude.
Is it?
I can tell you right now, like trying to go grocery shopping with that thing and with kids. I mean, it is. Yeah. You're always putting stuff in the back seat. You know,
that's
like
why
it's okay. Like we've gotten used to it.
Sense.
I mean, it's going to be, the Macan is bigger.
Yep.
But Jessie misses her all-track. It had more space. It had another like 10 inches of space in the rear area, which makes all the difference.
Yep.
It just does. And you can store so much stuff and so much more groceries and all these other things. Great car. If you're going to have it just free. Dude, no, you can't buy a Golf R. They're like $30,000. You can't have that.
They're probably not in the realm
that doesn't fit into your formula of I just bought a
saving
X dollar house. I need to reel back in the. No, you can't have it. Although I was, okay.
Yeah, no, not a GT3. Just say screw it. Get a GT3.
Come on, dude. Get out of here. No, that's not even an option either. You can only get enough groceries that fit into the same space as a set of golf clubs. All right, tell me about CSF.
Yeah, CSF cooling. CSF cooling has always been... What?
You weren't ready.
No, I wasn't at all.
That's
Do you want to
okay.
cut
Go
that,
ahead.
or are you leaving it?
Nope. You're
leaving
you're
dead
fine.
air.
You're embarrassed, but you can go ahead.
CSF cooling has always been at the forefront of quality products at a fair price. With a rich history stretching over 7 decades, they provide the best high performance and OEM Plus cooling systems on the market today. CSF offers over 3,000 different cooling applications for the most popular makes and models on the road today, from classic copper brass radiators for Land Cruisers, Jeeps, and Datsuns, to vintage 80s Mercedes, BMW, Audi, and Porsche platforms, all the way up to new vehicles. Check out their expanding Classic Series lineup, and of course their offerings for air-cooled 911s, which we're excited about. Be sure to check them out at csfrace.com or on social media.
All right, you know what I just did?
What did you just do?
I just posted the link to be in the audience with this live stream. So it's now a live stream. If you're in the Drivers Club,
for the Drivers
just
Club
got
members.
a link. Yeah, okay. Drivers Club members can hop in and watch
I
live.
heard a
They
beep.
can hop in the chat. I should remember to do that more often. They can hop in the chat. Anybody has questions, I can look at them and we can hang out. All right, I want to go through a little bit of news, and then Joel Fetter is coming on for a segment. Surprise, Joel Fetter is going to
surprise Joel.
Surprise.
What so no update with you?
What do you want? Oh, I want to read this letter.
Yes.
Okay, so I went down to my grandma's funeral and I was going through her things, and I pulled this letter out, and it's kind of funny because it kind of puts it's from January 18th of 2000. So
yes.
I'm 19.
That's what I was going to ask. How old were you? And it is a perfect, you shared it with me earlier, and I'll just say it is a perfect snapshot of Chris's life at 19.
Yes, absolutely. Hi, Chris. I want to move your dresser to our room today. Do you know where you would want your other stuff? We may need to measure before we start moving. Now, I think I was in college, so I wasn't living there at the time.
Got it.
I do have something else to tell you this morning. I'm sorry Jennifer decided she just wants to be friends, but you will probably have a lot of these things happening before you get serious about someone. It's a long way until you could support someone. If someone is this temperamental, it is probably for the best anyway. Love you. I don't even remember who Jennifer was.
That's what I was going to
that's how right she always was. She was always saying, you know what, don't worry about it. Yeah. She would always say, this too shall pass, right? This too shall pass. And she was right. I don't even remember who Jennifer was.
That's funny.
So clearly she was correct there. The big thing, though, is the car. We have spoken to you several times about reclining the seat. You may move it back and forth, up and down, but you may no longer recline the seat. There is not a driving school in Wisconsin that would allow a student to lean back while driving.
In Wisconsin,
I love it. I want you to go out and look at our driveway where you turned in last night. 2 inches to the left with the rear tire, and you would have dropped off in that deep ditch. That would have ruined our car. You cannot turn into a driveway like you are rounding a corner. I sincerely feel the reason you misjudged was because you cannot see the front end of the car when you are lying down, and so you misjudged where your rear tires will be. I know you think it looks cool to be relaxed and leaning back, but that is not the appropriate way to drive a car.
What car was this? To just formulate.
I'm going to guess.
Was this?
This is probably either. This is probably a Mercury Grand Marquis.
Okay.
I'm going to guess it's a Mercury Grand Marquis.
And you were reclined, looking cool and comfy.
Yes. I really hope you don't think that, quote, oh, well, I will just wait until I leave the driveway and then I will lean back. We will know eventually, and you know what that means. I really wish we didn't have to threaten all the time to get a point across, but you are a hard guy to deal with. You can poo-poo me all you want, but you are in the wrong, and I do know how to drive a car. I love that. I know how to drive a car, Grandma.
Yeah, yep.
So please do as I ask, and things will run much smoother. Last night could have been a disaster. I really want you to go look at the tracks.
Did you? Do you remember going out and
fixed
looking?
Up today. When your futon gets back, it will look much better. Isn't there a way to wire some of your, quote, stuff so you don't have so many wires hanging out? You do a good job of making things work. And you really had a nice setup, but your room would look much better if the wires weren't strung all around.
What
Love,
wires
Graham.
did you have strewn about?
It was all like my guitar amps and stereo cords
okay.
and
And you
record
just ran them
players
across
and,
the center of
and
the room.
everything else. Yeah. I don't really know. Yeah, I'm not sure.
That's funny.
So.
I love that you have that though from her.
Yep. That's me in a nutshell. I guess apparently I was doing the gangster lean when I was 19.
Yeah, I guess
don't
so.
remember this. I don't remember it. But
Don't remember it. Don't remember the driveway.
No, I do not. I do not remember. I mean, it is a large ditch for sure. All right, I want to get into a little bit of news, and then we're gonna pull Feder in.
All right.
And this is kind of good news. I really feel like Porsche goes back and forth between like, yeah, you guys are great, you get it, to
Yep.
whoa my God, what are you doing? So I don't know if there's a whoa my God, what are you doing department, and an oh my God, this is great department. There's these two departments obviously don't talk to.
Yeah. No,
All right.
certainly not.
Porsche is working hard to save the manuals in the
Yes.
911 and 718. Boss says Porsche's Frank Moser, never heard of this guy. I don't know how he's a boss. I've never heard of him. It says the company intends to keep offering manuals as long as its current sports cars exist, saying, quote, manual transmission is always what the customer wants in the 911. I don't know if that's true. So we have been and are working as long as possible to save the manuals. That's absolutely relevant for the 911. That's why we have the 911T with a manual gear shift and now the 911 ST with a stick shift. And that's really because customers want a stick shift. When Porsche was asked if it's confident to keep the manuals alive through this generation of cars, Moser said, we're working on it. So it would seem as long as the current 718 Boxster Cayman and 911 exist, it's likely their manuals will also, which is really stupid because it's saying, hey, you guys have manuals in these cars right now. You're going to keep making this model, right? Yes.
Yep.
Well, are you going to keep manuals in them?
Well,
yes.
Yeah, it's the same
Oh
model.
my God, that's so great. Yeah, I know
that's not really news at all, is it?
Yeah, it says,
And-
however, don't expect manuals to stick around once electrification becomes the norm.
just gonna
Toyota
say
is
that.
researching synthetic stick shifts, which we have seen.
So dumb.
But Porsche wants no part of that. What we want, and that's the key for Porsche, is to make it authentic. Okay, I don't know what that means. What is
Authentic, meaning they're not
They
going
say-
to put
oh,
a fake
they're saying-
stick shift in it.
so? Therefore, I don't know. There's a way for us to have a stick shift in an electrified car
Because
because
it's
it's
fake.
stupid and makes no
Yes, it
sense.
is.
I mean, eventually they'll be gone. It's
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I do like. We never talked about the fact that they brought just the 911T badge back. I like that they did that. That's cool.
I'm so
'Cause
sick
our
of
cars
the
are both
badge.
T's.
Yeah, but I'm so sick of the badge abuse. Like
Badge
the
abuse.
ST comes back. It's
Yeah.
like hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's
Sure.
ridiculously expensive.
I know.
The
It's just
original
one
ST
more
was
special
something that you could
edition.
get as like a car that you could take to the track. You'd take it
Right.
to the track, you'd race it, you'd rally it. This thing is like, oh, it's a little bit lighter, but it's $1 million. It's got like air
And it's a
conditioning and
luxury
like
street
all this.
car.
It's
exactly.
you know what I think would be neat is if like I don't know if dealers get a list of like a parts catalog or something like that, or if it was in those Porsche Classic books that you get.
Yeah.
What if one of them was just like a part number with a
Okay.
price, and you had to go to the dealer and look and find out what it was, and it was like a I guess that's what a cup car is. Maybe a cup
I was
car.
like,
is
where are
what
you
I'm
going
thinking.
with this?
Maybe a cup car is what you order
are-
when you want a
Yes,
race car, right?
That is
you want
a
a
cup
race car.
100%.
Yeah, but you could
Which-
drive an ST on the street back in the day. You cannot drive a cup car on the
Yeah,
street.
that's true. I will say Porsche is the one manufacturer that supports motorsport like none other, like customer
Yes.
motorsport. It's amazing how they just have warehouses full of spare parts for these. It's really cool,
It is
that
just
program.
so expensive. I need to figure out, there needs
Yeah.
to be some math done, because it's easy to go, yeah, it was so easy, much easier to do back in the day.
Right,
It was
but
great.
how expensive was it compared to today? The inflation
Right. Well, I
of
think the-
motorsport, basically.
Tires are a huge problem, right? So it's really difficult for me to understand or think about buying tires to go to the track.
Okay.
I think back in the day, you just ran tires. You just had tires that were maybe, they're 185 tires. Like how
You're saying
expensive
to
could they
be
be?
competitive, you didn't need full
Right.
slicks that you would
You don't
use
need to buy
in one
Trofeos or
session.
Cup 2s or
Right.
any of these other like super tires that are $1,000 a piece.
So part of it, you're right. Part of it is because it's gotten too competitive in these series that you need to then buy all these parts that are consumables in order to be, at all competitive.
Right. All right. I'm going to show you. I'm going to pop on the screen here, and we're going to talk. Nah, fuck it. We'll just read this. So one car that I owned at one time was a 1993 Suzuki Swift GTI.
Okay.
So I'm happy to announce that the 2024 Suzuki Swift has been revealed.
Nice.
And and dude, it's ugly. I have to share the screen because
Really?
it's ugly. Which, yeah, it's kind of a bummer that it doesn't really look like.
Okay, I'm trying to. Let's pull up the old Suzuki Swift. I want to look at the old one. The old one just looked like a Geo Metro, didn't it?
Yeah, that was what was cool about it, though.
Well, this is like the modern day interpretation of that. Like, I'm not surprised by this or disappointed. This is exactly what I would expect.
What are you talking about? All right, let me just do this. All right, where's the picture of this thing? Okay, so here's a picture of this thing. This thing looks like if Fiat designed
It is
a
very
Mini.
Fiat-esque, yes.
It's very, and maybe that's just the color that I'm feeling that, but
True.
this, I mean,
That and
none of this does.
the C pillar, I think, something about that being blacked out.
Oh God, this looks so French in the front.
Not.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's awful. So here's the old one. Look at this thing. How dope is this?
A Swift GTI. That is cool, actually. Oh, so
Yeah,
that's
it
where
was a twin cam.
okay.
It was like a.
You can actually see a lot of the design language, though. Remember I said the blacked out C pillar? There it is right there, the little spoiler. It's not terrible compared to...
Let's take another look. Oh God! I mean, that's a stretch, dude. I mean,
No,
I
look.
guess. Well, that was where the
C-pillar,
designer was.
the
Someone was saying,
hatchback.
"Hey, man, you got to
tie it in.
put something in here." And the guy took a black pen and just like scribbled the C pillar black and went, "Ta-da! There you go. What do you think now?" And someone went, "Fine, fuck it. That's good enough." So I had one of these probably about 20 years ago, and it's a little like 1.3 liter 16 valve dual overhead cam engine, and I owned it for about 20 minutes. I didn't own it very long.
It is the same vehicle as a Geo Metro, by the way. I'm looking it up.
Yes, that is correct. That is why it is cool, because it was. Let me see if I can look up the engine.
Don't know if that makes it cool. By the way, they never stopped making these. So the third generation, I guess it'd be, of the Swift actually makes it seem like the new one is good.
I think there's something about when you have like kind of a piece of shit car, like a Geo Metro that comes with a 3-cylinder engine, and then someone goes, "You know what? Let's make this
Let's hot hatch
awesome.
it.
Let's
Yeah.
do what we can to make this awesome." So then
That is really
it's the
cool.
whole hot hatch mentality. You're right. You're
Exactly.
absolutely right. They put the
100%
twin cam
what it is.
Suzuki over 1300 in there, and
Which
the
is
thing
a
had
whole
independent
nother
suspension.
cylinder.
Yeah, let's add another
DFI.
cylinder. The problem
awesome.
with mine was it did have independent suspension.
Was
but
yours
the
the
suspension
GTI?
was so independent that it wasn't attached to the car anymore.
that's
it was-
super independent. Yeah.
It was super rusty. So I mean, I
Super
went
independent.
around a corner and the thing kind of went wonk. Like it just like went straight and then not straight, and then when I hit the brakes, it went straight again. And because the control arm was no longer attached on the bottom,
That's not good.
so I got a refund for that one. Luckily, what do you think the limit is on you buy a used car and you get all your money back? How far away can you get from your purchase point?
Well, that's a legal actual stipulation. I believe it's
Oh, there
7
is?
days and so many miles. Yes. There's a
No.
legal. Yes, there 100% is.
No way.
100%.
Okay, let's take
From
the
a dealership.
legality out of it and just
From a dealership.
let's just
You're talking from
Okay,
a
that's a-
person. From a guy?
okay. I'm talking from a person, like the moral and ethical limit of I got this far away.
As soon as
Oh
you
my
sign
God,
the
I
title
made a
over.
mistake.
As soon as you sign the
It
title
is,
over,
isn't
they
it?
don't have to leave the driveway. Not my
Nothing,
problem.
because you should have test driven the car.
Yep. Buyer beware.
Before you
Caveat
bought it.
emptor.
Yep. Buyer beware. That's
If
right.
there's
And
Latin
I mean,
associated with it, it's a rule, right? Caveat emptor.
yeah. The problem was I had driven this thing and I kind of just trusted the seller, like it was someone I knew
Okay.
very well, and so
then
I
you
didn't
drove
drive it. I
away
was just
and the
dude,
suspension
I was so
fell apart.
excited. That car, have you ever driven an old Acura Integra?
No, I don't think I have.
We should do an episode of shifters that look like dicks. Like a scale from like 5 to 1, which shifters most look like dicks.
And this
or
is a
could
5?
be used in a pornographic film.
Yes, I see.
And the Suzuki Swift, I'm going to have to pull this up right now. Hold on. The Suzuki Swift.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Integra.
We should pull up the Integra
too. They
too.
rallied these things. Like the 3rd gens that we didn't get here. It's a really cool rally car.
All these are like modified shifters. None of them are showing the original. Oh, there's one. All right, here's a photo. I got to. All right,
Can't
there
wait
it
to
is.
see whatever is happening.
That is the Suzuki Swift shifter right there.
Yeah, wow, there's not a whole lot to it. It's just
not a lot of imagination needs to be
phallic
used to.
Is how I would describe that one.
Well, I mean, it looks. I mean, it would be easy. It'd be no problem.
Yeah.
So we should do a 5 to 1 best.
That's a 5. That is definitely a 5.
That's number 5. So everything, not a rating system.
Oh,
we're not
okay.
rating them. That's not our. Well, I think this one.
I like the rating better.
This one I think would feel like a 3 or a 4 based on the girth.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
We can't give it a rating system, but we can give it a visual
click on the
system.
link I just sent in the chat though. This is the 3rd gen Swift that we didn't get as a rally car, which is really cool.
Oh yeah, these are awesome. Yeah, absolutely. All right, what else we've got in news?
Les news?
Oh yeah, did you know the union auto worker strike is over?
I didn't know what was going on, to be completely honest.
Yeah, they reached a deal, and it is it's I don't know. It seems a little bit absurd. I don't really know how this stuff works. I mean, I kind of have a pretty good idea. Yes, the unions go, we want a wheelbarrow full of gold every day parked in front of our house.
Okay.
And we want the CEO of the company to lick our boots right before they eat their own dinner. That is our absolute. We can't take anything less than that.
Okay.
And then, of course, you end up with something, you negotiate, and there's something in the middle. Union Auto Worker Vice President Chuck Browning, the chief negotiator with Ford, said workers will get a 25% wage increase.
Wow.
25% general wage increase, plus cost of living raises that will put the pay increase over 30% to above $40 an hour. Now, that all sounds like pretty crazy until you get to $40 an hour. I don't think $40 an hour these days is what it used to be. Previously, Ford, Stellantis, and General Motors had all offered 23% pay increases. Assembly workers will get 11%. There's another number in here that I wanted to mention. Obviously, pensions are bumped up. Everything's kind of bumped up. And I'm just kind of wondering how this will affect car sales, because everybody's greedy, right? I think that I looked it up. They made $230 billion or $90 billion in profit. Like, there's no shortage of money to pay for this stuff. The automakers have money, right? So they have a bunch of money to pay these guys the raises. But one of the reasons why they had the money to pay these guys is that they're greedy. You have to pay their shareholders. Everybody's got to get paid, right? Everybody's got to get paid. And they're not going to just eat it.
No.
Right? They're not going to just be like, oh, well, we had to.
The money has to come from
we
somewhere.
just lost. I mean, what do you think the bottom line is on that? With all these workers, all of a sudden, on your payroll,
huge.
your payroll cost just increased 25%?
Yeah.
Where does that money come from? Huge.
From the bottom line, consumers.
It's gonna get paid. And here's the problem: cars are already at all-time highs, right? Affordability for a new car is at an all-time low in terms of affordability.
Right. Yes.
And EVs, one of the many reasons why nobody wants them is because they're just ridiculously expensive. It's like $50,000.
Yeah.
It's just not possible. So I'm things were getting a little bit better. I know car prices had kind of stabilized and we're starting to become somewhat reasonable. I feel like those days are now long gone.
The case.
Speaking of like EVs and stuff like that, I wanted to bring Joel Feder on to answer a few questions for me, because I've been noticing, like, I went to the Volkswagen dealership to get an oil change. Do you think less of me?
Nah, yes.
Yeah, I just didn't want to do it. I was busy.
How much did you
Overcrest,
pay for that?
An oil change and wipers. What do you think it was?
Well, first of all, I know it took a while because you complained
It
to
took
me.
eons. I was sitting
Okay.
there forever. So front and rear wipers and an oil
Synthetic
change.
oil change and wipers. $300.
And it was $225, which is pretty out there for me. But it was nice. It would have been nice if I could have just dropped the car off and half an hour later picked it up and left. I don't know
Right.
why it took 3.5 hours.
That is ridiculous.
I don't really understand.
Yeah.
Really understand how that goes. Anyway, so I wanted to have Feder on to talk about. Sorry, lost my train of thought there. So I was at the dealership, and I was walking around because I was there for 3.5 hours,
Yes.
and I saw these ID4s. I saw one out of the corner of my eye, then I saw another, and another, and another, and another, and another, and another. The new EV thing.
Sure.
There is 4 rows. There's got to be 40 or more of these ID4s. There's only 3 GTIs and 1 Golf R, and there's about 40 or 50 of these ID4s.
Wow.
And I kind of posted up like, oh my God, look at this. And I showed people like what I'd seen. And then I got a bunch of DMs from other people. They're like, yeah, my dealership is the same. And they sent pictures, and they're fucking everywhere.
Really?
They're absolutely everywhere. And I think Mercedes is the EQS. They can't sell it either. The Mercedes EQS will not sell.
Same thing.
The F-150.
EV.
Yeah, they're everywhere. Mercedes says it's not aspirational enough. So I don't know what that means. I don't know what we're aspiring to with an EQS, which is just disgusting.
Wow.
Anyway, so I was trying to figure out in my mind, okay, what's happening? Because right around this time, we're starting to get all this news that is like, oh, EV sales are faltering. And everybody's just going, see, I told you they didn't want it. Nobody wanted any of this stuff. I told you this would happen. I told you it wasn't going to work.
Okay.
And I'm kind of like, hold on, hold your horses. Just because there's like this little dip in sales or this little dip doesn't mean that everybody's off the hook. You know, because I still feel like there's people out that are like thinking, yeah, people don't want this. It's not going to happen. I legitimately think there's people that think that. I've talked to them on social media. They think the infrastructure's not there. There's no way it's going to happen.
Well, last time I talked to
don't
Joel,
worry about
he
it.
also was skeptical that things would be pushed through and would happen.
Who was?
Joel Feder.
When was this?
Months ago?
Months ago?
Not that long
well,
ago.
he's not skeptical anymore. Let's bring on Joel to kind of. I wanted to get some answers to this question from a guy that's in it every day.
Yes.
Let's talk to Joel Feder. Mr. Joel Feder, the one and only. How's it going, dude?
Mr. Christopher Clewell, it is fantastic to hear your voice and see your face.
You are straight back from the from SEMA, where you were part of a panel, which is kind of the reason why I'm talking to you now. Other than the fact that you're a beautiful person, I'm very curious about a few things that are going on in the industry, and I can't think of anybody I'd rather talk to about it than you.
Aw, that's sweet.
So I've been in a little bit of away from the news.
Do we have a bad
I guess.
connection?
We haven't done a news episode in quite a while, and I apologize for the delay. Riverside seems to have a hell of a delay lately. So I've been out of the news for a little while because we've been doing the rally and we've been doing all these other things, and it seems like in the last probably even 3 months, it seems like all of a sudden the news went from like everything is EV, we're going to be doing everything by 2030. And then for some reason, the whole news thing shifted and everybody's like, oh, EV is in trouble. EV is like on edge. People don't want it anymore. Oh, all the manufacturers just realized that people don't want this. And it seems like we're getting into like this partisan divide where, you know, Republicans or conservatives are being like, we told you so, blah, blah, blah. And the other side is saying these other things. And I just want to try and like, see if I can have you kind of cut through it for me and just tell me what's going on. You know, I was at Westside Volkswagen, and there's about 150,000 ID4s in the parking lot. And I know Mercedes can't sell their piece of shit EV. So I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. Please tell me.
Sure. Look, I mean, there's a lot of things going on, right? There's a confluence of things, and it's complex. The short answer is still a flood of EVs coming. A flood, right? A metric ton. GM and Ford definitely pulled back, specifically GM. And so their goals were, 400,000 EVs and all these EVs coming out by this time or whatever time, right? They're definitely slow rolling by a year or two. A couple of their factories, some of their models, they were coming out at $30,000. They cut out the base model. They're going to do 35,000. But not all automakers are pulling back, right? The Koreans, Genesis, Hyundai, Kia, they're still pedal to the metal. Rivian still pedal to the metal. Lucid still pedal to the metal. And so it's interesting to watch this. Ford is still pedal to the metal on their next gen, what's called T3 BEVs, but their current BEVs, so that would be the Mustang Mach-E and F-150 Lightning, they're definitely pulling back on production level as well. So it's interesting. That one's more of a dynamic one, right? Because it's different generations of EVs that they're talking about. I think that there's a couple different things. I don't think that consumers don't want necessarily EVs. I think consumers just want a car, right? I don't know that necessarily consumers really truly care about what powers their car, but I think they care about convenience. And I think that Jim Farley, CEO of Ford, did a road test in F-150 Lightning. He realized, wow, doing a road trip in one of these kind of is hard, kind of a pain in the ass, right? And that comes down to an infrastructure issue, which has nothing to do with an actual electric car. It has to do with how you fuel an electric car, right? The driving and the ownership, that's different when you're charging home and all that. But when you're taking a road trip, that's a different story. And so I think that is an impetus, by the way, for a lot of these car companies that band together to create an electric car charging network, because they realize that the third party is doing a really terrible job and that their customers are going to blame them.
This will be a delay, so I
doesn't really matter if you bought
at the wrong point. But is this like an American culture? I don't want to call it a problem, like an American culture problem, but when you say road trip and the ability to do something like that, in terms of world market, is this like a specifically American thing that becomes a problem? Is it our psyche of wanting to be able to go and do something
yes and
like
no.
that?
So I would say no. Is it an American problem? Kind of. Is it American psyche and way of life? No. So a couple things on that. One, Europe is just farther ahead of us as far as like their Ionity network and all this being built out, right? They took it more seriously. They were just on top of it. So taking a road trip in Europe with a high-speed, fast-charging network is just easier today. It just is. So we're behind. Two, and they have a different standard, so their plugs are different, and they're more reliable. They break less, and they have less issues. And two, we as a country are just bigger. We have vast open spaces, especially when you're looking at, Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, Nebraska, Texas. These are big, wide open spaces, right? And so these are long distances. And it's not, I want to drive across Texas. It's, I have to drive across Texas if I'm going to X, right? And that's a big distance. So, we're unique in like Minnesota, for instance, you and me, the cabin life, right? 204 miles door to door from our family cottage to my house. We do that every other weekend in the summer, as you might know, or more. That's not normal, right? That's not average. So, I mean, the average American drives 40 miles a day. So Ford actually released a couple pieces of data and we'll get back to your question in a minute, but just, it's interesting. When I was on a call with Ford about something, they made mention that the average Mach-E driver is driving less than 40 miles a day, and their average trip per time they're in their Mach-E is 5 miles. 5. It's not very far. So Americans, we're definitely the only country in the world that thinks that every minute of the day we need to be able to tow 10,000 pounds, 500 miles in a shot. Like, we're the only country in the world that thinks like that. And most America doesn't need to do that. We just think we do. That's why everyone drives F-150s. So the charging experience sucks when you're not at your house for fast charging. It just does. And that's a problem. Automakers know it. That's why automakers like, there's a whole list of them: BMW, Mercedes, Stellantis, GM, Honda. There's a whole laundry list of them that band together to create. Hang on, we just switched screens.
I look at that they're pulling back. If they're pulling back, that means they made a mistake. If they're pulling back and they misjudge the numbers that they have, that means they made a mistake. What mistake did they make?
So different automakers are different in that regard. It's a complex answer as well. I know you're going to hate that I keep saying complex answer. So GM specifically chose to go with a unproven, untested battery format that no one else in the world is using. And their battery cells look, for better or worse, you might ache into a flat keyboard for a desktop. Like those long, skinny things that slot in to these packs, right? Nobody else is using cells like that. Everyone else uses a cell that looks like a AA or AAA battery, right? So they're using these cells that, and we've heard various different reports. Some people are saying the cells are just hard to pack. They can't get them right. Some are saying they're having cooling issues. Some are saying that they're just literally having issues building the packs themselves. Some people are saying it's a supply issue. We can't get a straight answer, but there's no question. There's an issue with the fact they chose an unproven battery pack system. They really should have just maybe done that for second gen, right? They're trying to launch all these BEVs on this one common platform, but they're using an unproven battery system, and they're going at it alone. It might be superior. It might be, but they're having trouble getting off the ground with it, right? So that's a GM thing, right? Forget like outside of that. Ford, I mean, look, the Mustang Mach-E and the F-150, these are roughly based off gas-powered vehicles, right? At some level, and they're not ground-up electric cars like a Rivian, like these, all the Hyundai Kia cars, those are ground-up electric cars. It's a different way of building a car. There's a different pricing structure in that, right? There's definitely efficiencies in that. And so that's also hard. I think that you look at the way that the T3 project, the Ford's doing it, that's going to be a whole different thing. So much house is going to be done in-house, vertically integrated, instead of just using off-the-shelf components. That's going to dramatically lower their costs. Instead of 150 fasteners, I'm making this number up, maybe they're going to use 10. That's a huge difference, right? And they're going to be easier to build the cars. It's going to cost them less money to build the cars. It's going to take less time to build the cars. But here's what I will tell you. If I was working at Rivian, Lucid, Tesla, or the 3 Korean companies, I'd be jumping for joy right now that all these American companies are pulling back at the moment and or are behind. I would be thrilled. The runway that is happening right now, specifically for Rivian, by the way, because you got Cybertruck that's just a joke. You got F-150 Lightning that they're losing money on, and T3 is still a couple years out. I mean, if you want an electric pickup truck today, the one and GM is so far behind. Like, if I was Rivian, I'd be just so happy. So happy.
How
this is a gift.
How far are we from having something from Rivian that is reminiscent of like
these
a
other
Maverick,
companies,
like in terms of cost and quality and availability?
Oh, far.
You know what I mean?
Far.
Like just having like a $40,000 Rivian.
Yep. Oh, I'm sorry. If you're talking, so their next vehicle is going to be like a Grand Cherokee. The R2 is like a Grand Cherokee.
Well, I just mean just in general, like maybe it doesn't have to come from Rivian. It can come from anybody. I'm just talking about like how far are we away from that? This isn't.
Well, so
I can't afford a Rivian. Most people can't afford that, but I could afford a Maverick.
So
when does the confluence of the two
GM
come
is
together?
launching. So GM is aiming to launch the Equinox, Chevy Equinox electric. That's going to be now $35,000 and have about 260 miles of range later this year. But I'm not convinced that it'll be a high volume vehicle for them. I don't know that they can build them quick enough.
Feder, what are you up to out there at this cabin? What's going on? This looks like a nice day.
We're doing our Best Car to Buy award testing. We're about half an hour away from Atlanta Motorsports Park, where we've got all the other cars staged, and we're swapping cars in and out for the next 3 days, driving cars.
This has to be your favorite week of the year.
It's a pretty good week. We're all together as a team in person. It's the 1 week a year we are all together in one spot for a week. It's kind of nice. Listen,
Well,
I think I did a crappy job answering your question. I just want to get back to this really quick.
No. It's okay. Dude, it's super complicated. And
it's a terrible delay.
There's no right answer.
It's a terrible delay.
And I think it's a consumer issue. There's going to be resistance to it, of course. I think it's a political issue. I think there's a political thing to it. And people are so tribal with politics that it makes it difficult. And I think it's a company issue, too, a corporate issue.
I think that it's become very political, kind of like medicine and science became very political for some reason. This is a very politicized issue at this point. Here's the deal. Come 2030, I guarantee you that the marketplace is going to be shifting. Like, it's going to happen. This is happening worldwide. America is not going to be, we can't just be the only country in the world selling gas-powered cars. It's not going to happen.
We'll quote you on that, and I appreciate you hanging out with me today. I know you got to get back to your buddies, and I look forward to having you back on to talk about the best cars. I don't remember how we did it last year. I think we teased it a little bit, and then we revealed what the best car to buy was. I think maybe we went through the list of the cars that were available that you were test driving. So I think it'll be fun to have you on to talk about that.
Let's do that in December.
Yeah. Third week of December, we'll have you back on, and we'll talk about the cars that you guys are driving right now.
Okay.
All right. Well, enjoy your beautiful weather. I'm in my freezing cold garage with no heat. You look wonderful. You look like a beautiful person, and I can't wait for you to come back to cold Minnesota and for us to go get lunch.
Talk to you later, buddy. Bye.
All right. Sorry about the delay in that conversation. I think we got it figured out, but hopefully that's the last one you have to deal with. What did you think of that, Jake?
Very interesting.
He wasn't there.
So
He
I have
hasn't
no
heard it
idea.
yet. I have to put it later. Texas
I'm
coffee.
just glad that I'm so vindicated and correct. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So Texas coffee and cars. What are we doing? I think someone trademarked cars and coffee.
Oh no! So now it's coffee and
It's
cars.
coffee and cars, and I think here it's something different too. They renamed it like Brews and Buds, or who knows? I don't even know. Texas coffee and cars bans Mustangs, Chargers, and Camaros due to idiots doing burnouts.
Really?
The event claims the ban is temporary, but a lot of people aren't happy. I mean, that's. Oh, here's the official statement.
Okay.
Due to this morning's burnouts and revving, we will be temporarily banning all Mustang, Chargers, and Camaros. We keep asking for cooperation to reduce this behavior, and we have signs posted. If this behavior continues, we will be forced to do an invitational-only event. Well, all that's going to do, look, that doesn't work, because all people are going to do is show up and do burnouts in the parking lot next door, or they're going to pull right up, right in front of the gate, and they're going to do burnouts right there. That is not the way to do it. That's a way to cause a bunch of rebellious people to do. You're already trying to penalize people that don't give a shit about the rules. Creating more rules for those people, it's not going to work.
That's the opposite of how that should work. Yes.
We have an epic lineup for the end of the year toy drive. Please stop encouraging this behavior. Spread the word, please, and thank you. Is there? Let me see if this is a video of this situation.
Is there?
Oh yeah, nope. That's just a bunch of like really bad music with supercars, which is exactly what you expect at a Cars and Coffee. Anyway, I've low key. I did a burnout at Cars and Coffee once. Everybody was gone, but I did it.
Oh,
I did it.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
I did it for myself.
You happened to do a burnout at the location that Cars and Coffee had previously been held. That doesn't count.
Yeah. So I mean, this is just another reason why Cars and Coffee suck. And you should go do rallies, go drive, go find events that are, especially like if you're in Texas, there's got to be dudes that are out there just being like, hey, let's go for a drive. Let's go do something.
Yes, exactly.
Anyway. All right, that's it.
That's it. Actually hang out with people.
Next week I have either, let me see what I've got coming up.
What do you have?
I can tell you.
Tell me.
So either it's going to be, oh boy, it'll be cool. I've got the names, but I can't remember. Let me see. I'll pull it up. I'll tell you exactly what it is. Just give me a sec.
Okay.
It is Ryan Zamalin, and he wrote a book on the cult of the GTR, the true story of crime, obsession, and the world's most coveted car. It's all about the Nissan GTR. So I'm really looking forward to having him on to talk about, because like I know these cars and I see them, and they seem to be becoming more and more common as import
well, yeah,
laws.
it's the 15-year law, or 25-year law, rather.
Yeah, and I think we just hit another milestone where you're going to start seeing a lot more of them.
Right.
But he
now
wrote
the R34, I think, is available to be imported.
Exactly. And, you're always talking about, man, that guy wrote the book on fill in the blank, with the guy that is knowledgeable about something.
This guy wrote the book.
This guy literally wrote the book on the cult of GTR. So I'm really excited to talk about that and talk about him and his books. And I don't know too much about him, but I think he's got his own cool set of cars too. So it'll be great to talk to Ryan, and that'll be next week. And then it's cool being able to know exactly what we have going on at all times since I started the calendar again. We're back on it, boys. We're back on it.
Let's go.
All right, we will see you guys next week.
Take care.